All right, we are going to make a teacup. For your teacup project, you will need your lump of clay. You'll need a cup with some water, something to roll your clay out with. This is just a piece of a dowel, but you could also use a flat cup, a rolling pin, or if you really don't have anything, you could even use the palm of your hand. You need something sharp to scratch into the clay with to slip and score. I am using this plastic needle, but a sharpened pencil would work just fine. If at any time during this project you need to stop and finish pieces of it at any other time, always put it back in the Ziploc bag and close it completely. You do not want the clay to dry out too much because it will be impossible to get it wet enough to work again once it is what's known as bone dry, completely dry. First thing we're going to do is take this square of clay and roll it into a ball. Okay, now we need to turn this ball of clay into 3 balls of clay. You need 1 big one and 2 small ones. All right, so the bigger ball of clay will be the main part of your teacup, the cup. And then one of your balls of clay will be the base. The other ball of clay will be your handle. So right now we're just going to use the larger ball of clay to get started. You are going to make a pinch pot. To get started with a pinch pot, what you need to do is make sure that you have as close to a perfect circle as you can get with your clay. Then take your thumb and press it into the middle of your sphere. Now you're going to take your thumb and your first 2 fingers and pinch outward, and you are creating a pot with this pinching motion. So you're creating the cup of your teacup using this pinch pot method. If your clay is starting to dry out and getting cracks, you can get a little bit of water on your hands and rub it onto the clay to hydrate it a little bit more. Once you are happy with your pinch pot cup, now it's time to add the base to the teacup. You're going to create the base for your teacup by using the slab method. The slab is just a flat piece of clay rolled out and then cut. So you're going to start out by taking the ball of clay and flattening it in your hand. And then take that ball of clay and flatten it onto your work surface. This is where your roller comes in. Whatever you have to roll, or if you don't have anything, you can flatten it out with your hand. You don't want the base to be too thin, but you also don't want it really, really thick either. If it's too thick, it might break in the kiln. Now take your teacup and place it on top of your base. And then take your sharp tool and you measure a little bit how big you want that base to be. And then you could take your sharp tool and cut that circle out. Okay, now we need to attach the base to our cup. Here is where we need to slip and score it on. So turn your teacup over, and you need to score the back of this. When you score, you just scratch into the clay. It doesn't have to be any particular way. Just get scratches into that clay. Score the thing that you're attaching as well. Then get some of your water. Get some water on your hands. And put some water on the first piece and the other piece. Rescore it again so that your clay gets nice and muddy. Rescore that again. You want nice, muddy, watery clay. And then you can attach that base. Now, when you fire it in the kiln, it will stay stuck to this and it won't break off. The last thing we need to add to our teacup is a handle. To make a handle, we're going to use the coil method. A coil is basically a long rope of the clay or a snake. So take your last ball of clay that's left and start rolling it in your hands in one direction. It should start to get longer. Keep rolling it in your hands, and then you can even move it on the table. If you start pushing it up and down and rolling it, and then pull out with your hands as you're pressing down a little bit, it will pull that coil out. You want the handle to be about as skinny as your pinky finger and as long as your pointer finger. So I'm going to pinch off a piece right there. This is my extra. I'm going to put it to the side. So here I have a handle. Now if I turn it and shape it like a handle, I can attach this to my teacup. You attach this to your teacup the same way that you attached the base. You're going to slip and score it on. So I'm going to squish that down a little bit so that I have a place to score and slip. I want my handle to go on this way. So I'm going to take my sharp tool again. I'll mark where one is, and I'll mark where the other one is. Now I know I need to score that. Add some water to create some slip. Make that nice and muddy. I'll do the same on this side. Add some water. Make it nice and muddy. And now I'll do the same on my handle. Score. Add some water. Make it muddy. Score. Make muddy. Now I can place my handle onto my teacup. The very last step of creating this teacup is adding your sgraffito designs into the side of the cup using a sharp tool. Right now, right after you finish sculpting it, the clay is probably a little too wet for sgraffito. So you need to put it back in your Ziploc bag and let it harden up for about a day. And then come back the next day, and then you can add your sgraffito designs. Place it really carefully in there. Make sure you Ziploc it. And that will harden up for about a day. Okay, after a day, your clay teacup should be hardened enough to where you can finally add some designs with sgraffito technique. Carefully take your cup out of your Ziploc bag. And then use your sharp tool that you have to carve in designs. You can make this any way that you want. It is completely up to you. Make sure that your name and homeroom is on the bottom of your teacup. When you are done with your teacup design, first thing I want you to do is take a picture of it and upload it to the assignment on Canvas. Now this is very important. You also need to, in the comments, tell me what color you would like this teacup to be. I have on Canvas, on the Friday page, a picture of all the different colors of glazes that these teacups can be glazed. Tell me which color glaze you want in the comments when you upload this picture on the assignment. And then when I get it back from you after you bring it to school, I will fire these, and then you can pick it back up and it will be a workable teacup that you can drink out of, that you can put in the dishwasher, you can put it in the microwave. It will be completely 100% usable. After you take a picture, upload it onto the assignment on Canvas with the comment of what color you want it to be. Make sure to put it back in this Ziploc bag. Make sure to include any extra clay that you have left in your Ziploc bag. Please don't throw that away because I do reuse the extra clay. Close it completely, and then you can carefully bring it back to school and drop it off by the front entrance.